Weak men stay broke not because they don't have opportunities, but because they refuse to take responsibility. The truth is brutal. Most broke men are broke in their mind long before they broke in their wallet. It's not about money. It's about mindset. Weak men wait. They wait for motivation. They wait for someone to give them a chance. They wait for permission to take action. But time doesn't wait. While they're hesitating, making excuses, and scrolling endlessly, life keeps moving. The world rewards the bold, not the passive. Broke men live in comfort zones. They fear failure more than they want success. They fear rejection more than they desire growth. So they stay in the same cycles, small routines, low-risk habits, zero discomfort. They protect their ego by avoiding the struggle that builds wealth. They'd rather feel safe than become strong. The weak mind says, "I don't know where to start." The strong mind says, "I'll figure it out." That difference alone separates winners from losers. Every successful man started with nothing but grit and a will to learn. But weak men want guarantees. They want results without risk. They want applause before effort. They don't lack information. We live in the age of access. Everything is online. Free courses, free strategies, free knowledge. But weak men don't take it seriously. They confuse learning with doing. They watch motivational clips, feel inspired for 5 minutes, then go back to the same distractions. Weak men stay broke because they run from pressure. They avoid hard conversations. They dodge accountability. They blame their job, their family, the system, anything except themselves. They think they're unlucky, when in reality, they're undisciplined. A man who can't control his emotions will never control his finances. Weak men let anger, fear, and doubt dictate their choices. They waste money chasing short-term highs, fast food, cheap thrills, pointless purchases because they can't delay gratification. And without discipline, money slips through their hands like water. They value comfort over freedom. They think freedom means doing whatever they want. But real freedom is earned through discipline, sacrifice, and control. A weak man stays broke because he chases pleasure, not purpose. He wants ease, not excellence. They surround themselves with losers. Men who gossip, men who complain, men who've already given up. Iron sharpens iron, but weak men sit in circles where mediocrity is normal. They never level up because no one around them is climbing. And when life gets hard, and it always will, they fold. They quit fast. They blame faster. They don't persist. They don't pivot. They don't adapt. That's why they never break through. The path to wealth is not easy. It demands clarity, pain, and persistence. Weak men reject all three. They want results with none of the sacrifice. They want progress without pressure. They romanticize the idea of success, but never build the habits that lead to it. They stay broke because their identity is tied to struggle. Deep down, they believe they're not meant for more. They've bought into the story that wealth is for other people, so they sabotage anything that challenges that belief. The moment they start to win, they panic, they retreat, they self-destruct. Because success feels foreign and struggle feels familiar, weak men avoid silence. They drown in noise, music, podcasts, notifications, because silence forces reflection. And reflection reveals the truth. They've been wasting time. They've been escaping, not building. They've been numbing, not sharpening. A strong man faces that silence and uses it to recalibrate. A weak man avoids it and stays stuck. Their mornings are lazy. Their nights are wasted. Their weeks are forgettable, and their years gone in a blur of distractions and excuses. Success doesn't come to men who try their best. It comes to those who become obsessed. Obsessed with progress, obsessed with evolving, obsessed with not dying the same man they were last year. Broke men talk too much. They talk about plans, talk about goals, talk about dreams, but execution, that's where they vanish. They seek validation for intention. not respect for results. They think being busy is the same as being effective. It's not. Work without impact is just movement in circles. They want confidence without competence, but confidence is earned. It's forged in failure, refined in pressure, and built through consistency. Weak men look for shortcuts, quick money, easy wins, hacks. They don't build real skill, so they're easily replaced. They don't master any craft, so they never hold real value. They chase motivation like addicts. One bad day and everything collapses. Their routine? Gone. Their focus? Gone. Their belief? Gone. A strong man builds systems that work even when motivation dies. He's not driven by mood, he's driven by mission. And when opportunity knocks, weak men freeze. They second guess, overthink, procrastinate, because they haven't prepared. They haven't been sharpening their edge daily. So, when it's time to rise, they fold. They weren't built for the moment, they were distracted while others were developing. They fear judgment more than regret, so they never post, never pitch, never risk looking stupid. They'd rather be unseen than criticized. But silence doesn't protect you from failure, it guarantees it. Every strong man was doubted before he was respected. Weak men can't take that heat, so they hide in the shadows and stay broke. They spend more time entertaining themselves than educating themselves. Hours into Netflix, 0 into networking, gaming all night, but can't invest 1 hour into learning high-income skills. They know every celebrity scandal, but can't explain compound interest. That's not ignorance, it's neglect. Their values are backwards. They'll spend money to impress strangers, but won't invest in a manner. They'll upgrade their phone, but not their mindset. They'll flex on the internet, but cry in silence. Weak men are loud about things that don't matter and silent about the things that do. They stay broke because they quit when it's boring. Success is not always exciting, it's repetitive, disciplined, and often lonely. But that's where the results live. Weak men need dopamine every hour to feel alive. Strong men trade short-term pleasure for long-term purpose. And here's the truth most one say, life doesn't care about your feelings. The market doesn't reward potential, it rewards value. It doesn't matter what you could have done, it matters what you did. Weak men think the world owes them something. Strong men understand they owe the world their best. Because the moment you decide to break out of that cycle, everything changes. But most won't. Most will keep scrolling, keep complaining, keep settling. And that's exactly why And that's exactly why they stay broke, because choosing strength means killing the old self. It means saying goodbye to the version of you that tolerates laziness, that makes excuses, that lives in fear. And that death, it's painful. That's why most won't do it. It's easier to blame the world than to confront your own reflection. Weak men protect their limitations like trophies. They defend their struggles. They justify their stagnation. They say things like, not everyone can win, or I'm doing my best, or it's not that simple. But it is that simple. Not easy but simple. You show up daily. You eat the dirt. You build skill. You kill distractions. You become undeniable. And that's what weak men fear the most, becoming undeniable. Because that means pressure. That means all eyes are on you. That means you have no one left to blame. It's far easier to be a nobody with an excuse than a somebody with expectations. So they stay quiet, they play small, they let life pass. They build castles in their mind, but never lay a brick in reality. They think vision boards and affirmations are enough, but never wake up early or put in the reps. That's why they watch others win from the sidelines, bitter and confused, asking, why not me? Because you didn't earn it. Because you refused to suffer for it. Because you were too afraid of being uncomfortable. You can't build strength without struggle. You can't build wealth without work. You can't build respect without risk. Strong men understand that power ain't given, it's taken. Day by day, hour by hour, action by action. The weak are waiting for their moment, the strong are creating it. And if you're still listening, still breathing, still alive, then you've got no excuse. Because right now, there's someone with less talent, fewer resources, and more problems than you, who's grinding harder, learning faster, and rising stronger. And he's going to win because he chose the hard road, because he chose to stop being weak, because he chose to never stay broke again. Now the only question is, will you keep repeating the same story? Or rewrite it? Will you keep hiding behind your fear? Or face it head on? This is the moment that separates men who wish from men who work. The difference: action. Relentless, painful, disciplined action. Not tomorrow. Not next week. Now, because every second you delay, someone else is moving, someone else is building, someone else is becoming what you're pretending you want to be. Weak men stay broke because they avoid the war. The internal war, the war against procrastination, laziness, weakness, softness. But the truth is, you are either at war with your old self, or you're surrendering to it. And surrender always ends the same: a boring job, a dead routine, an empty bank account, and a life full of regret. Regret is the tax weak men pay for avoiding growth. They trade their future for feelings. They trade power for comfort. They trade greatness for distraction. You want to change? Start doing the hard things daily. Wake up early, even when you're tired. Read instead of scroll. Train your body when you don't feel like it. Build a skill that pays. Say no to losers. No to comfort. No to your old self. You have to kill the man inside you who's okay with being average. No one's coming to save you. No one's going to hand you success. The world doesn't reward intentions. It rewards execution. You either build or get buried. You either evolve or dissolve. You either become a savage or stay broke, soft, and invisible. This isn't motivation, it's a warning, because life doesn't care if you're tired. Life doesn't care if you had it rough. Life only gives to the men who take. And the men who take are not weak. They are forged in hardship. They are built through repetition. They are armed with clarity, vision, and discipline. The more pain they face, the sharper they become. The more pressure they endure, the more valuable they become. They don't shrink, they rise. So the next time you say you want more, ask yourself, do I really? Because wanting it isn't enough. Every broke man wants success. But only the strong are willing to bleed for it. And the world, it only respects the strong. It only listens to the disciplined. It only pays the relentless, because in the end, you either become a weapon or you get walked over. This world doesn't run on fear, it runs on power. And power doesn't come from talking, hoping, or wishing. It comes from results. Real, tangible, undeniable results. Results you earn through the grind no one sees, through the sacrifices no one applauds, through the consistency that feels thankless until it doesn't. Weak men never reach this point. They tap out when it's inconvenient. They retreat when it's uncomfortable. They break when they should bend. And the worst part, they know it. Deep down, every weak man knows he's playing small. He feels it every morning he wakes up with regret. Every night he wastes doing nothing. Every paycheck that barely covers the bills. Every time he looks in the mirror and avoids eye contact with the man staring back. You can't lie to yourself forever. There comes a point where even your own excuses disgust you. That's the breaking point, the turning point, the moment that defines you. So here's the truth no one wants to say out loud. Being broke isn't just a financial state, it's a mental one. A broke mind creates a broke life, and unless you rewire it, rebuild it, and reforge it, you will never escape it. It's not your upbringing. It's not the economy. It's not your parents, your boss, your city, or your bad luck. It's you. And once you accept that, you unlock your greatest power, ownership. When you own your failures, you own your future. When you stop blaming, you start building. When you stop waiting, you start winning. So ask yourself, what would happen if you went all in for 6 months? What would your life look like if you trained like a savage, read like a scholar, worked like a machine, and eliminated every excuse? No half effort. No soft mornings. No more I'll do it later. Just fire. Focus. Relentlessness. Because that's what it takes. And deep down, you know it. You don't need more time. You don't need more motivation. You need to make a decision. Decide to rise. Decide to dominate. Decide to kill the weakness inside you before it kills every dream you have. Because no one is coming to save you. No one is handing you freedom. You earn it. You bleed for it. You become it. And once you do, you never go back. You start moving different, thinking different, speaking different. You stop entertaining small talk, weak habits, and people who aren't built for war. You start walking like a man who knows exactly where he's going. You stop begging for approval because your results speak for you. Loudly, clearly, unapologetically. You stop chasing quick wins and start building legacy. You stop proving your worth and start living it. Because once you've tasted progress born from pain, comfort becomes poison. You realize most men aren't your competition, they're distractions. And most days aren't about how you feel, they're about what you do anyway. Strong men don't negotiate with emotions. They execute, period. You stop needing validation because you built conviction. You stop seeking permission because you forged your own path. And every scar becomes armor. Every loss, a lesson. Every setback, fuel. You'll start to notice something. Your circle shrinks. Your focus sharpens. Your life simplifies. Because the higher you climb, the quieter it gets. Weak men fade. Soft habits die. And all that remains is purpose and fire. You become a man of momentum. A man of mission. Not addicted to the outcome, but obsessed with the process. Not chasing motivation, but moving with intention. Every hour counts, every step stacks, and suddenly, money starts showing up. Respect follows, opportunities appear. Not because you got lucky, but because you became undeniable. That's the reward. Not just the wealth, not just the wins, but the man you become in the process. A man forged by pain, a man sculpted by discipline. A man who's not just rich in money, but rich in self-respect. And when that man looks in the mirror, he doesn't see weakness. He sees proof that the old version died, and a new standard was born. And that standard becomes your new baseline. No more survival mode. No more playing not to lose. You move with force now, with clarity, with direction. Because once you've broken through your old limits, you refuse to live beneath them again. Mediocrity becomes disgusting. Laziness feels like betrayal. Wasting time, unthinkable. Because you've seen what's possible when you lock in, shut up, and do the work. Now everything changes. Not just your bank account, but your energy. Not just your status, but your standards. You stop tolerating the old life because you've outgrown it. You don't chase women, they chase your discipline. You don't chase followers, they follow your execution. You don't beg for validation, you embody value. This is the difference. Strong men don't rise by luck, they rise by choice. Every single day they decide to be sharp when it's easier to be soft, to move when it's easier to rest, to build when no one's watching. That's what separates the broke from the built. That's what creates dominance. That's what makes the strong unstoppable, because at the end of the day, success isn't about being the smartest. It's not about being the most talented. It's about being the one who refused to quit. The one who showed up when it was dark. The one who worked when it was quiet. The one who stayed hungry when everyone else got comfortable. So ask yourself, are you building that man now? Or are you still defending the one keeping you broke? Because every minute you waste, every excuse you defend, every comfort you choose, is the reason you'll stay exactly where you are. And unless you snap that cycle, nothing changes. Different year, same problems, same income, same frustration. You'll keep watching others level up while you make the same empty promises to yourself. Next week I'll start, once I'm ready, when I feel more motivated, but that moment never comes. Because progress doesn't wait for permission. It rewards movement, brutal, relentless movement. You either kill the pattern, or the pattern kills your potential. There is no neutral. Every day you either sharpen or slip. You're either moving closer to freedom or deeper into regret, and regret is hell. It's the silent punishment for men who knew they were meant for more, but never had the guts to act on it. You'll feel it when the lights go off, when the distractions fade, when it's just you and your conscience. That pit in your chest, that's the weight of wasted time. And if that doesn't make you sick, you're already too far gone. But if it does, if you feel that fire, that sting, good, use it. Because that's your wake-up call. That's your inner strength breaking through the excuses. That's your future self reaching back, screaming, "Don't die like this. Not broke, not soft, not forgotten, but dangerous, disciplined, respected, free." So, you've got two choices now. Keep pretending, or start becoming, because eventually, time runs out. Not just the hours in your day, but the years in your life. Eventually, the window closes, the dreams you ignored, gone, the potential you buried, forgotten, the man you could have been, dead. And that's the real tragedy, not that you failed, but that you never even tried like it mattered. You'll look back and realize the enemy was never the world. It was never your boss, your past, or your circumstances. It was you, your laziness, your distractions, your fear of becoming something greater. Strong men don't fear the grind. They fear wasting their gift. Because they understand this truth. If you were born a lion, but live like a sheep, you'll suffer in silence your entire life. So stop lying to yourself, stop calling it a bad phase. Stop acting like you've got unlimited time, you don't. Your life is bleeding out in the background. Every scroll, every snooze, every skipped workout, every excuse is a choice to stay broke. Not just financially, but mentally, physically, spiritually. And when your story is over, no one's going to care what you thought about doing. They'll remember what you built, what you stood for, what you became. So, what's it going to be? A man remembered for excuses? Or a man remembered for execution? Because one of those men is watching this right now. And the other, he's already getting to work. He's already moving in silence, stacking habits, sharpening skills, becoming a savage in a world full of spectators, and soon, he won't need to speak. His results will. He won't beg for respect. He'll command it just by walking in the room. No more proving. No more explaining, just presence, just power. That's the man who broke the cycle. The man who showed up when it hurt. Who bled for the life he wanted instead of crying for the one he didn't. He understood what most men never will. That discipline is freedom, that pain is fuel, that pressure creates kings. While the weak were looking for shortcuts, he was in the shadows, building silently. When they were parting, he was planning. When they were complaining, he was calculating. Every setback, a lesson, every failure, a forge. Now he moves with momentum, not because it's easy, but because he refused to stay broken, because he made a non-negotiable decision to never be owned by weakness again. So here's your reality check. You can become that man, or keep watching him pass you by. You can keep waking up broke in your body, broke in your mindset, broke in your bank account, or you can get violently serious about changing your life. One life, no redos, no someday, no guarantees. Every hour you waste, someone else is buying their mama house, building generational wealth, becoming a leader, stacking legacy, and you still thinking about it. That's the gap, not talent, not intelligence, decision. So stop asking what it takes, start becoming what it takes. Because the clock is ticking, and soon, the door will close, not with a bang, but in silence. You won't even notice the moment it happens. One day, you'll look around and realize the time is gone, the energy is gone. The youth, the hunger, the fire, it all faded while you were waiting for the right time, and that's the cruel truth about life. It doesn't warn you when it's done offering chances. It just moves on to the man who was ready, to the man who didn't flinch, to the man who decided. Because while you were watching, he was working. While you were hesitating, he was executing. While you were doubting, he was dominating. Now he owns the things you dream about. Not because he was chosen, but because he chose himself. So, if you're tired of being stuck, tired of being broke, tired of knowing deep down that you're capable of more, but still playing it safe, then burn the excuses, bury the weakness, and build the man the world was never ready for. Because the truth is, you were never meant to be average. You were never meant to chase comfort. You were never meant to bow to fear. You were meant to rise, to lead, to conquer. But only if you choose to, and every day you don't. And every day you don't, the gap widens. Not just between you and success, but between who you are and who you were meant to be. You wake up a little slower, you think a little smaller. You believe in yourself a little less, until one day you forget you ever had fire in you at all. That's how men die before they're buried. They suffocate under the weight of what they could have been, not because the world was unfair, but because they refused to fight. Because they let weakness win one day at a time, and the worst part, it always starts small. One skipped workout, one more hour of mindless scrolling, one more day chasing distraction instead of discipline. It feels harmless until it becomes who you are. But so does strength, so does power, so does greatness. One cold shower, one focused hour, one hard choice made every single day. That's how it happens, not overnight, but moment by moment, choice by choice, sacrifice by sacrifice, until one day you're unrecognizable. Not because you changed, but because you finally became who you were always meant to be. And the world, it feels the shift, it starts treating you different. Because when you carry yourself like a man who's earned his value, you no longer need to ask for it. So here's what it comes down to. You either let weakness write your story, or you pick up the pen, bleed on the page, and write a new one with your own two hands. But whatever you do, don't look back in 10 years with a broken heart and a full list of excuses, wishing you had the courage to start today. Because the window is still open for now. For now, you still have a shot. A shot to flip the script, to silence the doubt, to burn the version of you that settles, avoids, and delays. The version that talks more than he moves. The version that dreams but never builds. That window won't stay open forever. Every day you hesitate, the price gets higher. Not just in money, but in dignity, in time, in who you become, when you know you could have been more but chose less. Because here's what no one tells you. Success is rented, and the rent is due every damn day. Weak men can't pay it, they flinch. They fold, they tap out before they even start sweating. But the man who refuses to break, the one who locks in, levels up, and lives in the uncomfortable, he doesn't just get rich. He gets respected, he gets free, he gets to die without regret. And that matters more than any car, house, or number in the bank. Because internal poverty is the worst kind. And that's what you suffer when you don't face the war within. But you can win, not someday. Not eventually. Now start moving like your life depends on it, because it does. Every rep, every page, every dollar earned through pain, not comfort. That's where your transformation lives. So, if you're still breathing, still scrolling, still wondering if it's too late, it's not, but soon it will be.